Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today my lecture is about nervous system and neurons. Before starting the lecture, let me remind you, please subscribe my channel and share it with other students. So let's start. Nervous system and neurons. Remember that the nervous system is the main function is coordination and control. The main function of the nervous system is coordination of the different parts of the body. Our body needs a perfect and precise coordination among the different parts of the body, like our arms, our muscles, our legs, how we are working, how we are living, how we are performing our different duties and routine work through a precise and perfect coordination. All of the muscles, how I am standing, this is possible because there is a complete balance. That's why I am standing in front of you. And if we are walking, so that also needs and requires a perfect coordination of all the muscles and bones. Similarly, if I am talking, this is also possible because of a perfect coordination. Similarly, our heart is beating, and when we start running faster, so heartbeat and the breathing rate, it also starts getting faster. So this is because there is a perfect coordination, and this coordination is possible because of the nervous system. So and the control, so we are able to control our body. I am able to control my arms and my muscles, and I am able to move my arm and to write. This is because of the nervous system. So I explained that the purpose of the nervous system, that is coordination and control. Now next thing is that there are two main parts or two main types of nervous system. One is central nervous system and the other is peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system is comprised of brain, CNS. CNS stands for central nervous system. So this central nervous system is made up of brain and spinal cord. So the central nervous system, CNS stands for central nervous system. Central nervous system is comprised of brain. This is brain. So here I made a diagram of human body to show the position of the central nervous system and the position of the peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system is composed of brain. This is brain, and this is the spinal cord, which is the extension of the brain. And these two, brain and the spinal cord, they are making the central nervous system. While the central nervous system is also central because of its position, and also it is central because of its role. It plays a central role in the coordination of the body. Second type of nervous system is peripheral nervous system. So the peripheral nervous system is called peripheral nervous system because it is present in the peripheries of the body. Like central nervous system is the central in position and in role, but the peripheral nervous system is present in the peripheries of the bodies, in the boundaries of the bodies, far and wide places of the body. So this is extending to in all the parts of the body towards the peripheries. That's why it is called peripheral nervous system. So the peripheral nervous system is composed of nerves, which are extending and reaching to different parts of the body, towards our arms, towards our legs, towards our chest, abdomen, everywhere. So now either it is the central nervous system or it is the peripheral nervous system, either it is the brain or the spinal cord or the nerves, all of them, they are made up of special type of cells which are called neurons or neuron cells. So this is the typical diagram of representing a typical neuron cell. Here we can see this is the cell body and this is the main cell body, and it is containing a nucleus. Nucleus, as we know, is the regulating authority or regulating body of the cell. So then there are dendrons and axons, and remember that in the neuron cells the messages are carried in the form of nerve impulses. What are nerve impulses? These are the electrical impulses. Nerve impulse transmits in the form of an electrical impulse, in the form of a current, electrical current, which passes through and fro in our body, and in this way it transmits the messages from different parts of the body. And if the nerve impulse is carrying in this direction towards the self body, so this will be called dendron. This is dendron. And now the nerve impulse is running in this direction, So this is dendron, which is carrying the nerve impulse towards the cell body, and this part of the fiber, this is called axon, if it is carrying, because this is carrying the nerve impulse away from the cell body. So in this way, in this direction, the nerve impulse is running, the electrical impulse is running. This is the cell body, this is dendron, and this is axon, while here we can see the nucleus. Now here on axon we can see the myelin sheath. What is myelin sheath? It is made up of fatty substances. The purpose of the myelin sheath around this axon is that it is serving as an insulator. It is a non-conductor of electricity. So as the current is passing and all of the nervous system and all of this communication and coordination system, it is working on the basis of nerve impulses, on the basis of the electrical impulses. It means that we are thinking and we are controlling the different parts of the body, and all the messages are being carried to and fro in the form of electrical impulses. So there is a kind of current which is flowing in the neuron cells. So this current should not be coming out of this neuron cell. So in order to prevent it, there is myelin sheath. Myelin sheath is made up of fatty substances, which is a non-conductor, which is an insulator. So this is the purpose of the myelin sheath. It is working as an insulator. This is the myelin sheath. Now dendrites are the endings of the axon as well as the ending of the dendron. Both they are called dendrites. So this is a typical structure of a neuron cell. Now let me tell you that there are three types of neuron cells. One is sensory neuron, other is relay neuron, and the third is motor neuron. So first of all, let's understand what is sensory neuron. Here I draw a reflex arc which is showing all the three types of neuron cells. So first of all, let's talk about sensory neuron. So sensory neuron starts from our sense organs. there are 5 sense organs in our body. For example, skin is the sense organ. For example, eyes are the sense organ. Ears are the sense organ. Nose is the sense organ. So these are the sense organs, or tongue is the sense organ. So the sensory neurons, they are having their receptors and they are having their branches. They are starting from sense organs. For example, these are the sensory neuron and these are the receptors. For instance, if someone pricks a needle in our skin, or by an accident a needle it pinches to our skin, so we will feel a pain, and then we will pull out our hand or our feet or that part of the body. We will feel the pain and then we will show a reaction. So this is about the nervous system. So when this pin or this needle it pricks or it touches our skin, so the receptors present in the sensory neuron or in the skin, they will receive this message and will convey this message towards our brain and towards our central nervous system, towards our brain and the spinal cord through sensory neuron. So these are the dendrites of the sensory neuron, and this is the we can say this is the dendron, this is the cell body, this is the dendron, this is the cell body, and this is the axon, and then it is ending. So in this way the nerve impulse, the message is being conveyed from the skin towards the central nervous system. It is informing the central nervous system. It is informing the brain and the spinal cord that something happened. That, for example, our hand touched a hot object, or honeybee has it bites us, or a needle is pricking, or the temperature is rising, or anything. So it is informing our central nervous system through the form of nerve impulse. So the nerve impulse is transmitting from the sense organ, from the skin, from the eyes, from the ears, from the nose, from the tongue toward the central nervous system. They are giving continuously, they are providing information to the central nervous system, to the brain, to the spinal cord. Now in the spinal cord or in the brain, in the central nervous system, there is relay neuron, or another name of relay neuron is intermediate neuron. Intermediate neuron or relay neuron, it receives the message, and after receiving the message, it understands it, it interprets it, it processes this message, and after processing, after understanding, then our brain or our spinal cord and our central nervous system, it shows an appropriate, a suitable response, and this response is then sent through the motor neuron. This is the motor neuron or effector neuron. This motor neuron or effector neuron, now it carries the nerve impulse towards the effectors. These effectors can be muscles. Most of the time they are muscles. This is the muscle fiber. Or it can be a gland. So with the help of these muscles, we pull our hand. For example, if our hand touches a hot object, so we will immediately pull our hand. So this is the response. How we will show the response? Through this motor neuron, through this effector neuron, by contracting our muscles. Or sometimes we show the reaction in the form of glands. For example, if a delicious food comes in front of us, so our salivary glands, they become active and they will show response by activating and by releasing, secreting saliva. So remember that the response is shown either by muscles or by glands. So in this way the nerve impulse is transmitting. It started from sensory neuron, then it passes through it is received by the relay neuron. Here it is processed, here it is understood, and then in the form of the command the nerve impulse is transmitted to the motor neuron, and motor neuron ends at muscles or glands, and in this way we show the response. So whole of our nervous system works on this basis, that the sensory neurons, that it starts from sensory neuron, then it reaches to the relay neuron which are present in our brain or in the spinal cord, or it means that in the central nervous system, and then through the central nervous system the reaction is shown through motor neuron, and then whatever is happening in around our environment, if someone calls us, so we will hear through our ears, and this message will be carried on through sensory neuron to the brain that someone is calling us or the doorbell is ringing, and then we will show the response through our muscles, through our legs, through our arms. We will walk towards the door and we will open the door. So all of this system of coordination is working on the basis of transmission of nerve impulses. And how this system works? Through neuron cells. So the unit, the structural and functional unit of the nervous system is neuron cells. Now let's understand what is synapse and what are neurotransmitters. In the nervous system, there is a gap between the two neuron cells. For example, that here when the sensory neuron, its branches, its dendrites are ending, we can see a small gap, a minute gap, and another cell, its branches are starting. So there is a gap. Here there is a gap. There is a minute gap. Maybe you can see it on the board. There is a minute gap. This gap between the two neuron cells is called synapse. So here I draw a large diagram. For example, this is the ending of the sensory neuron, the dendrites of the sensory neuron, and this is the suppose relay neuron. So when the sensory neuron, its dendrites are ending here, there are vesicles. In these vesicles there are neurotransmitters. What are neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitters are chemicals which are carrying the messages, which show certain produce certain chemical reactions. So when the vesicle it reaches here, it releases the neurotransmitters in this gap, synaptic gap, synapse. And now these neurotransmitters, they attach to the receptors of the other neuron, for example relay neuron, and in this way the electrical impulse converts into a chemical form, neurotransmitters. And in this way the neurotransmitters, they are helpful in conveying and in transmitting the messages from one part of the body to another. Now let us understand what are neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are the chemicals when the electrical impulse is transmitting and is traveling in the neurons. So when this electrical impulse reaches to the end of the neuron cell, here there are vesicles which are carrying neurotransmitters. So these neurotransmitters, they are released in this synaptic gap, and these neurotransmitters, then they are attached to the receptor of the second neuron cell, for example the relay neuron. These neurotransmitters play very important role in coordination and in the nervous system. For example, one of the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. It is linked and it is associated with memory. Acetylcholine is associated with learning. Acetylcholine is associated and it is linked with muscle contraction and relaxation. So there are so many important functions of the neurotransmitters. There are so many other neurotransmitters, for example dopamine and so many. So these neurotransmitters, they control our mood, they regulate and they modulate our behavior and thinking process, so many things. So let me conclude that our nervous system, it is the main function of the nervous system is coordination and control. It coordinates the different functions of the body. It coordinates the different parts of the body, and we control the different parts of the body. This is the command and control system, and we control the different parts of the body. We think, we react according to the stimulus and according to the information which is being received. How the information is being received? I am watching through my eyes, I am listening through my ears, I am smelling through my nose, I am tasting through my tongue. All these are the receptors, and through these receptors the sensory neurons are carrying the messages through the in the form of nerve impulses towards my brain, towards my spinal cord, and in the spinal cord, in the brain, the relay neurons are present, which interpret, which understand, and which process the information, and then we show the response through motor neuron. Either these motor neuron, they end in the muscles or in the glands, and we either contract the muscles, we run, we move our hand, or our glands, they get activated, and then we show the response. So whole of the nervous system, it works on the basic unit of neuron cells. And I repeat, there are three types of neuron cells: sensory neuron, intermediate or relay neuron, and motor neuron. And all of this system, it is working through the transmission of the nerve impulses, which are electrical impulses. I hope you understand my lecture. Thank you very much.